What's going on? What's happening, YouTube? So apparently, Sidney Poitier was in that's gonna come up and up telling the story. He told Eddie Murphy, he said, turn down dramatic roles, leave it to Denzel and to Morgan. Talking about Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman. What did I think about that? He was right. Eddie Murphy never really he had a chance. And I still say at the Coming to America, had he gone and done Dr. Martin Luther King story instead of wasting his time on what I thought was overrated. And basically, aside from a couple of snaps and a couple of moments, Harlem Nights was overrated, and another 48 hours should have just been a director video. It was a joke. He spent a couple of years just doing formula driven stuff, and he spent a lot of his time, excuse me, just doing formulated, forgettable movies. The last Murphy movie that I really kind of dug was Bowfinger, the one with him and Steve Martin. Most of the time, Eddie's stuff was contrite. There's a few things I liked. I thought Boomerang was cool, but a lot of his films was forgettable. The Shrek thing worked, and of course, Nutty Professor. He hit with a couple things, but most of his stuff was just formulated and boring and bland. Just kind of like when he doing Beverly Hills Cop Part 88. He just does the same old trite. Even the Coming to America Part 2 was weak sauce. He's just been doing the same old thing. The Dolomite movie was decent in parts, but a lot of his stuff has been redundant and predictable. But I understand what Sidney was saying. I think Eddie Murphy wanted to play Alex Haley in a movie or something, and Sidney said, "Don't mess it up." He basically said, "Don't mess up with what you got." The thing about with Eddie Murphy, he's one of the greatest comedians, one of the biggest draws, box office, etc. But a lot of the stuff he did is very forgettable. And once you get past the smart aleck and the laughs and some of the stuff, it just get pretty routine and mundane. He wasted a couple years where he could have probably have done a dramatic role, and he didn't. And now his box office can hang with Denzel, and he big as Freeman was, but he didn't put the effort and putting the chops into making it work. And I know some people gonna come at me and say, well, he got that Oscar nominated for his role in Dreamgirls. He almost had that role right. He was trying hard to get his Jackie Wilson on. He just didn't quite get it to the finish line. I think a lot of times with him, it's just putting in the effort and finishing up, and it just doesn't. Now, he didn't need no Oscar, nothing to validate him. I mean, he's been one of Hollywood's biggest moneymakers. But having said all that, though, too, he just didn't put the effort on a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff with him just felt like he was just phoning it in. And he spent a lot of time with Eddie just kind of like, you be kind of nonchalant.